Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Chris 6 Sunrise.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Here's a look at what stories we're covering in your neighborhood.
Possible changes to a bill that could bring more doctors to Nueces County has people talking. I'm Alexis Scott, your Bay Area neighborhood news reporter, detailing why county leaders believe this bill is important.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm Stephanie Molina in Kingsville, taking a look at how testing before the semester ends is impacting students.
The stage is almost set. I'm Melissa Trevino in Alice, where students of DuBose Elementary will kick off their end-of-the-year debut of a favorite Disney movie.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Chris 6 Sunrise. Thank you so much for waking up with the Hoffmans. I'm Michelle Hoffman.
And I'm Brian Hoffman. Yeah, it's a great morning so far because we got to see some crazy light shows that are going on in the sky. For more on that, let's bring on in Master Meteorologist Stephanie Labra. Good
morning.
How long is this going to continue?
Well, you know, the worst of it as of right now is starting to move off our coast, but we still have more rain in the forecast, and some of that could include severe storms. As it is, although we're seeing the heaviest and most intense storms moving off the coast right now, we are still under a severe thunderstorm watch until 8 o'clock this morning, meaning that any storms that bubble up do have the potential to bring us hail, very strong winds, and as we've seen this morning, quite the light show, incredibly heavy downpours, and that is all possible through at least 8 o'clock this morning for the county shaded here in pink. So even when you're not in pink, Live Oak B, Refugio, and Aransas counties, you guys have seen your fair share of rain this morning and some activity last night. Let's show you what's going on with our radar right now because, again, like I said, the worst of it, the brightest colors, yellows, oranges, reds, those are starting to move off into the Gulf, but the thing that is causing this is still parked right over us, so we're not out of the woods yet. You'll want to keep the raincoat with you. I wouldn't even bother with the umbrella because the wind is going to fight you with it. Save yourself the trouble. But if you're heading out for the commute this morning, you're going to want to be careful because we have some roadways that are dealing with the ponding, reduced visibility. So we'll get a check on how conditions are faring in your neighborhood with your traffic report and your weather on the 6s coming up.
Well, all eyes are on Italy today as Catholic cardinals gather for the official start of the conclave.
Yeah, that's a time when Catholic cardinals come together in private to select a new leader for the church. Now, there are 135 cardinals who are eligible to become the next pope. Cardinals over the age of 80 are not eligible to participate, and any candidate who wishes to become the next pope must earn 2/3 support from their fellow cardinals. At 6:50, we'll check in with Scripps News Group, Joe St. George, and get the latest from Rome.
A bill designed to bring more doctors to Nueces County has people talking. I'm Alexis Scott, your Bay Area neighborhood news reporter, taking a look at the bill and what it means for you.
House Bill 4801, proposed by State Representative Denise Villalobos, aims to allow the Nueces County Hospital District to recruit and retain certain medical professionals and provide care to the underserved at little or no cost. It would also increase the number of residency positions and establish accountability controls for hospitals awarded the money. Precinct 4 County Commissioner Brent Chesney supports the bill.
We have to serve our indigent community, but we also have to get doctors for this community in general. And so the byproduct of this bill is, even though this is geared towards the indigent, if you bring more doctors, that's going to help the community as a whole.
Christus Spahn, one of the few hospital systems within Nueces County, proposing revisions to the bill. One recommendation could restrict eligibility to hospitals that make up at least 33% of the combined inpatient and outpatient charity care costs in Nueces County. The other aims at only offering hospitals money based on the amount of indigent care they actually provided in the previous year. Changes that Chesney doesn't believe is inclusive of all hospitals in our area.
That's not what they want their legacy to be. That's not who they serve. They serve the people of this community unless you have local opposition. And if your only opposition is because you're being selfish, that's not right.
Nueces County Hospital District Administrator and CEO Johnny Hibb agrees this could cause some challenges.
That hospital system doesn't operate the only residency programs in the community, and they're not the only one who have needs.
Following a physician needs assessment, the hospital district found a significant gap between the amount of primary care and specialized physicians the community needs compared to what we actually have. House Bill 4801 could close that gap. Chris 6 News reached out to Chris Despond for an interview, and they provided this statement, saying in part, they appreciate Villalobos' work and support to provide funding to hospitals to provide care to residents of Nueces County. You can read the full statement on our website.
House Bill 4801 passed committee review and could move forward for debate on the House floor. If passed, it could go into effect September 1st. In the Bay Area, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Alexis Scott, Chris 6 News.
Howdy and good morning to you. We are starting off with the business end of the weather today. Some strong storms, which we've seen since last night, resurging into this morning, and we're not done yet. Don't put that raincoat away. Take it with you and put it in, at least in the back seat of the car. Let's talk about what to expect. We're under a severe thunderstorm watch until 8 o'clock this morning. That means even though the heaviest storms are starting to move off our coast, as I'll show you on the radar in a moment, we are still going to see that potential for sporty weather to be in our forecast for today and immediately this morning, at least through 8 a.m. Severe storms could bring us some hail. That's what we saw last night. Strong winds and that very heavy rain that has been ongoing this morning, dropping visibilities in some neighborhoods. So here's the latest with the radar. Over the past hour, we've watched the brightest colors or the most intense rainfall move off into the Gulf here. So our rainfall is winding down. But again, don't be fooled. We're likely to see more rain coming back into the forecast because the thing that is causing it looks to stick around a bit longer. But yeah, we've cleared out across a good portion of our southern neighborhoods, even most of Baffin Bay, starting to see that rain wind down, and that includes here in Nueces County near the island. Most of inland Nueces County, meaning past Airline, has been pretty dry for the past 15 minutes or so. We expect that to remain the case, at least briefly, but we could see some more storms bubbling up. That's why we have the severe thunderstorm watch in place until 8 o'clock this morning. But yeah, the brightest colors, the yellows, oranges, reds, those have moved off our coast, but we're still getting some heavy rainfall on the island near that intersection of 361 Park Road 22 near Aquarius. So that part of your commute is going to have reduced visibility. Also, our neighbors out there probably going to experience some ponding out on Park Road 22. Take it easy for that ride because it's going to be a rainy one all the way up to Port A this morning, at least for the next 15 to 20 minutes. So zooming in closer, yep, still heavy pocket of rainfall shown here by the yellow in the bluff, the south end of it near Laguna Shores, as well as out along the island there. So across northern parts of the coastal bend, we haven't seen as intense for that storm activity this morning. Sure, last night we did, but this morning it hasn't been quite so bad. And right now the bulk of the rainfall is moving through Refugio County out toward Aransas County and the Victoria Crossroads. So not dealing with too much activity here in B County, where the last of that is wrapping up near Skidmore. So what's going on in your neighborhood as far as those latest conditions? Well, aside from the rain that we've been tracking, a light show from the thunderstorms here as we've seen over downtown Corpus Christi. This is our studio Skycam, and notice everything's kind of soggy, hazy, and misty. So reduced visibility, even though the rain has kind of calmed. We'll see those visibilities dropping to around 5 miles per hour or worse at times, and we're still going to see thunder and lightning in the area, so please be careful. Don't dilly-dally getting out to the car, and give yourself some extra time to head out to wherever you're going this morning. Even if it's not raining, it did rain pretty hard, so we have ponding on the roadways, and you don't want to find a hidden pothole under one of those puddles. Temperatures are still going to feel soupy out there. We'll talk about the potential for rain throughout the rest of this morning coming up in just a few.
Is the VA changing for the better? I had a one-on-one interview with Deputy Secretary Paul Lawrence to find out what's being done to improve care for veterans. That's in this week's Veterans in Focus, coming up.
This is Veterans in Focus, sponsored by the Heil Law Firm, battling for justice, winning for the community.
Welcome back, everyone. With more than 100 days into the new administration, what's happening over at the VA? Well, I actually had a one-on-one with its deputy secretary for this week's Veterans in Focus, and I asked questions really looking for signs of positive change.
What's different at the VA than it was before under the Biden administration?
The short answer is a lot.
Just announced on Monday, the VA is making 3 key changes aimed at improving how surviving spouses, children, and other dependents of deceased veterans get their benefits. First, the VA is making an internal shuffle. Starting this Monday, the Office of Survivors Assistance will once again report directly to the VA Secretary. According to a press release, 5 full-time staff will advise the Secretary on policies, programs, and legislation affecting survivors and dependents. Next, the VA is creating what it calls a, quote, white glove survivor outreach team. This team will help eligible survivors navigate the often complicated process of applying for dependency and indemnity compensation. In addition, the VA says that it's expanding automation tools to speed up the claims process and reduce delays. These are just some of many changes the VA has made since President Trump took office. Paul Lawrence, the VA's deputy secretary, is quick to highlight what they consider successes.
We're modernizing the health record. We're processing claims faster. We're opening clinics to give veterans health care.
However, some bold actions have stirred up controversy, particularly the plan to cut approximately 80,000 jobs from the VA workforce.
We're getting rid of DEI officers, of interior designers, of middle-level bureaucracy that doesn't serve veterans.
Some veterans are raising alarms about the potential impact these cuts could have, concerned that staff reductions might lead to longer wait times for medical care and delays in claims processing.
We hope that just the opposite happens, that by getting rid of the bureaucracy and freeing up money, we will have more claims processors. We'll have better technology to do it. We'll have more doctors and healthcare providers as a result.
The VA insists its recent changes are designed to improve efficiency, but with continued concerns, only time will tell whether this strategy will pay off.
Folks enlisted, right, to join the best military in the world. When they get out, they should come to the VA. That is as good as what they experienced when they were in service. That's the goal we're seeking, because we know this really matters.
Well, hey, if you're facing any issues with the VA, Deputy Secretary Paul Lawrence encourages you to speak up. Start at the source. Talk to your healthcare team. If you're not getting help there that you need, maybe contact a patient advocate. And if that's not enough, speak to your provider supervisor, or the chief of service. And hey, if your issue still goes unresolved, you can always reach out to us and we will do our best to direct you to the appropriate contact.
Good morning. You'll want to head out early. I know a lot of that rain is starting to finally wind down, but we're not out of the woods yet because the weather system that is causing the ruckus is going to be sticking around for a little bit longer. So other rounds of showers and storms possible today. Let's focus on the ones that have been happening this morning and slowing down that commute a little bit. As you see, the brightest colors here over the past hour have moved out over the Gulf, so less of a problem for us, but there's still some heavy rainfall happening, especially for our neighbors who are along the island. So down in our southern zones, clearing up. Even here in Corpus Christi, not as much of a problem, but we can zoom in closer to your neighborhood and show you what's going on here. Zooming in right on that area of Flower Bluff and the island, 361. Yeah, we are still seeing the darker shades of green and even some yellow there along the island. That means we've got some intense rainfall that's going to reduce visibility and cause pounding out on the roadways that are already prone to that, i.e. Park Road 22 and 361. Beach access roads, of course, not even a question today, so please be careful. We've been watching a light show here in all of our Skycams. In fact, some of the Skycams can't quite handle it, but you know what? Downtown Studio Skycam can. Every once in a while, we'll see a good flash out here. And like I said, since most of the strong storms are out over the Gulf already, this points out toward that way. We'll see flashes every now and then. But for us here, driving around, things should be improving, but look at how glossy everything is. We've got some wet roadways out there, and because these storms were dumping heavy rainfall, and we saw some rain last night as well, you'll want to give yourself some extra time to get up and out the door. Be careful, potholes could be obscured by some of that ponding. You don't want to find out the hard way. Let's take it easy and give ourselves enough time to get to work and school safely this morning. Temperatures still feeling kind of ick out there. We've got upper 70s, and when we had the rainfall, things have cooled down to around 70 degrees. 68 in Beeville right now, 71 degrees for our neighbors out in Alice. And while things are beginning to quiet down, especially for the inland neighbors, again, we still have that lightning around the area, so you want to be careful with that. and reduced visibility on account of some of that mistiness that lingers behind the storms. So, for our neighbors on the south side, here's how we've done so far this morning. Look at these rainfall totals. This is just since midnight, picking up nearly a ½ inch of rain across the south side. If that doesn't tell you how intense the rainfall was, I'm not sure how else to describe it, but this is the culprit behind our weather, both last night and this morning. It is low pressure that is forming here right over the coastal bend, and it's riding along this stalled or stationary boundary. Stationary is in it's parked. It's not going anywhere for a while, so that is why we still have the potential to kick up some storms throughout today. So don't put that raincoat away. I would not bother with the umbrella because at times winds will be very gusty and you don't want to be dealing with that umbrella issue and getting soaked at the same time. Just take the raincoat. We'll see another round of showers and storms possible as we go through the afternoon. Again, because things are so unsettled, there is a potential that can get kind of sporty, and then tonight we'll watch to see whatever is left over. We're really waiting on the timing of that low pressure and stationary boundary to finally kick out. We need help from upstairs, so I'll be tracking when that timing looks like throughout today, and of course, coming up on your weather on the 6s.
Welcome back, folks. With the uncertainty of prices these days, plus looming tariffs that may increase those prices, we're starting up a new segment right now, today, first time ever. I'm tracking grocery prices for you to help your dollar go just a little bit further. Let's start with what's gained the most attention, right? It's those prices of eggs. Third place, that is H-E-B, sitting at $4.10. Second place, Target, $3.99. And the cheapest that we found for a dozen of eggs is Walmart, $3.94. Now on to a loaf of bread. Target takes third place, sitting at $1.89. Second place, H-E-B, sitting at $1.30. And then the cheapest place we found, Walmart, sitting at $1.27. Next up, gallon of milk. Third place, Target, $2.59. Second place, H-E-B, $2.36. And then first place goes to Walmart. Oh, actually, got those switched around. It looks like first place actually goes to H-E-B. That's sitting at $2.36. Walmart is $3.42 right there. So wrapping it up is the protein. We're looking at those ground beef prices for a pound. Third place, it looks like Target, $4.99. H-E-B, $4.83. And then the cheapest spot that we found for a pound of ground beef, that is over at Walmart, sitting at $4.64.
All right, for those of you who are going out for the morning commute, something to be aware of. That rainfall may be winding down, but the visibility is taking a while to rebound. And where we have had the heaviest rainfall, that is where we're seeing delays this morning. So please be careful wherever your travels take you this morning. But if you are going to be traveling along the island, 361, we're seeing some slowdowns. Park Road 22, as well as that arrival from the JFK Causeway into the island. That's where we're seeing some slowdowns. Of course, ponding on the roadways, not something that's uncommon for Park Road 22. That's to be expected. So please give yourself some extra time. Avoid the area. Wait it out if you don't have to leave right now. But that is going to be a struggle for some drivers out that way. Heading to NAS Corpus Christi this morning is a smooth ride. Waldron Road, Flower Bluff Drive, no issues to speak of. And throughout most of Corpus Christi, it is a smooth ride, albeit one that is a bit hazy and misty this morning. The approach of the Crosstown Expressway 237, that interchange is looking good, and so is the ride over 181 in the Harbor Bridge. So as you head out this morning, make sure you stay safe and you drive safe. Don't forget the raincoat. I'll tell you why in your next weather on the 6s.
Now, weather on the 6s.
Hey there, good morning to you. Want to highlight a Coastal Bend weather watcher who was sharing pictures of hail. This was in, a lot of our neighbors out along Lake Corpus Christi, throughout Juneau County near Orange Grove, saw hail that was around a quarter of a size to as big as golf ball size near northwestern Orange Grove and on that southern periphery of Lake Corpus Christi. So we relay your storm reports to the National Weather Service. It's a big help to us. We want to thank all of our Coastal Bend weather watchers for always being our eyes and ears out there. If you don't know what a Coastal Bend weather watcher is or how you can be part of this group, well, it's simple. If you're on Facebook, That's half the battle. Just look for our Facebook group, Coastal Bend Weather Watchers. Agree to the rules and you're in on all the fun. That's how we can keep tabs on what's going on in your neighborhood, your neighbor sharing their view. And again, we relay this to the National Weather Service, so it really does help a whole bunch. But so far this morning, we are tracking severe weather. It has been a severe morning, starting out around 3 o'clock this morning. We had some rockin' weather moving through the Coastal Bend. A lot of this has quieted down, but we're still under severe thunderstorm watch until 8 o'clock this morning. Because things have quieted down, this will likely be allowed to expire, if not even a little bit earlier, but we won't be done with the rain just yet. We have more opportunities coming throughout today, so keep the raincoat on hand. But if you're heading out this morning, you can expect those wet roadways across the area. Here's why. Look at the bright colors on the radar. This was a very active radar just a few hours ago across the Coastal Bend. And again, from some of the storms last night, that dropped hail just like we showed you a moment ago. So the worst of it has moved off into the Gulf. We still have some heavy showers across our northern neighborhoods and along the island. We have just been getting the rainfall coming down in buckets. So good news. Finally starting to taper off. It's been holding on for a while, but 361, we're still seeing rain at this time. It will slow toward drizzle and eventually just be a misty kind of mess out there. But as I just showed you in your traffic report, very slow movement along 361. Not necessarily a bad thing. Let's leave early so that we can take it slow and drive safely, and watch out for the ponding on roadways that are more prone to it, like Park Road 22 and 361. But moving into our northern neighborhoods now, the Rockport area finally getting a little bit of a break from the rain. And for those of you who may be along the 77 corridor for that commute this morning through Refugio County, Refugio, you are on that southern end of where our showers are kind of tapering off. There's still one more big batch that's going to cross 77, but it's to the north of town and in the northern end of the county before things start to wind down. The view over downtown Corpus Christi is a soggy one, but finally a bit more tranquil. We haven't seen as many flashes of lightning out here, but still, let's be careful this morning, y'all. That rainfall has cooled temperatures in some neighborhoods that saw the heaviest rain. That is what rain does to our air temperature, but we're in a range from the 70s, lower 70s to middle 70s at this point. Still reporting some thunder and lightning and showers at NAS Corpus Christi there in the Bluff. Visibility will be reduced while we have this mistiness here, but we did pick up a lot of rainfall. So let's show you that Chris 6 Neighborhood Weather Network and how we did on the south side. Because that rainfall was so intense, just since midnight tonight, we have picked up, look at that update, about a ½ inch of rainfall across a lot of our neighborhood weather stations here. So we will continue to monitor what other rainfall comes today, because the culprit isn't going anywhere. A stationary boundary, it's parked over our coast and will likely trigger more showers as we go throughout today. I'll time that out for you in your neighborhood coming up.
Now, say hello to your neighbors. This is your Chris 6 News Sunrise Shoutouts.
Hello, KRIS 6 Sunrise team. This is Winnie from the Corpus Christi Athletic Club. I would like to wish all of you across the Coastal Bend a wonderful day.
Hey, good morning, Wendy. And we also want to wish everyone over at the Corpus Christi Athletic Club a great day as well. Folks, if you want to send us your own shout out video, you can just scan the QR code on your screen or go to our website, christv.com.
I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter in Alice. There will soon be music, acting, and fun from DuBose Elementary students who put their talents on full display during performances of the Disney favorite, Frozen. The words you're hearing don't just put lyrics in a song, but bring characters to life.
I like acting out stuff and who the characters are supposed to be, and I like acting them out.
Out front and center for the first time is Sunny Contreras. The 5th grader and other DuBose Elementary students will perform Disney's Frozen. She tells me she's nervous.
It's hard because when you're the only one speaking, everyone's quiet. So if you mess up a line, they're all gonna be looking at you.
Sunny has several roles in the upcoming performances. One as simple as snow, she says. It's helping shape her future.
It helped me by being confident when I actually become a model and walk down that runway, I could already know what I learned because many people are going to be at the show.
Music teacher Tammy Rakowitz is leading the students.
I've always felt like it was my philosophy as a music educator to kind of encourage kids to be productive members of the arts.
When it comes to watching and directing students on stage for Miss Rakowitz,
it's pretty impressive what they can do for their age.
She tells me the kids' production of Frozen offers more than just fun.
The personal responsibility, time commitment, time management.
Fifth grader Jackson Lopez has the role of Kristoff.
Sometimes you just need to just do what you need to do and do everything that they tell you to do.
His advice to his peers?
To just act your best and do your best as well as you can.
The students will have a 3-day run of their performance. The show's open May 16th and closes May 18th. In Alice, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Melissa Trevino, Chris 6 News.
All right, the latest with our forecast, this pesky stationary boundary. We're about to get an update from the Weather Prediction Center, but this guy is parked right over our coast, so it's unsettled. And while I say stationary, there is a little bit of wobbling, the fancy term for it, quasi-stationary boundary. But it's a front that has lost its gas. It needs some help from upstairs in the atmosphere, so it's going to kind of wiggle wobble across the coastal plains of Texas. So not only here in the coastal bend, but also up along the Houston-Galveston area and cause unsettled weather throughout today. So though we're getting a break with the heaviest rain moving off our coast right now, we are expecting more rainfall today. At times that could get a little sporty. And because we're kind of at the mercy of where this little boundary wiggles, we could be looking at that intermittent shower activity even changing from what I'm showing you right here, but the general time frame will be through lunchtime into the afternoon, with the heat of the day kicking up the bulk of those storms. We'll expect more tonight for another wet commute tomorrow. And just a heads up today, stay weather aware, please, because while it's a lower end possibility, our northern neighborhoods are more likely to see the potential for sporty thunderstorms, maybe even severe weather. This yellow is a 2 out of 5 for that probability of seeing severe weather. The rest of us are in a 1 out of 5. So it doesn't mean there's no threat. It's just lower. The main concerns would be for hail and for strong winds. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast. We're going to keep rain in the forecast today and tomorrow. This front finally gets some help from upstairs in the atmosphere to completely clear out as we move into Friday morning. That'll leave us with a beautiful forecast, not only through the weekend, but into the beginning of next week. Yes, it'll be hot, but it won't be as humid.
From Chris 6, this is 20 minutes of non-stop news.
Thank you so much for joining us for our 20 minutes of non-stop news. I'm Brian Hoffman.
And I'm Michelle Hoffman. We'll check in with meteorologist Stephanie Lauber in just a bit. She has a look at our stormy forecast this morning. Plus, coming up at 6:50, we'll check in with Scripps News Group, Joe St. George. He joins us from Rome this morning as the conclave starts today.
But first, a proposed bill that addresses the doctor shortage in Nueces County is getting some mixed reviews. Neighborhood News reporter Alexis Scott has the details.
A bill designed to bring more doctors to Nueces County has people talking. I'm Alexis Scott, your Bay Area Neighborhood News reporter, taking a look at the bill and what it means for you.
House Bill 4801, proposed by State Representative Denise Villalobos, aims to allow the Nueces County Hospital District to recruit and retain certain medical professionals and provide care to the underserved at little or no cost. It would also increase the number of residency positions and establish accountability controls for hospitals awarded the money.
House Bill 4801 passed committee review and could move forward for debate on the House floor. If passed, it could go into effect September 1st. In the Bay Area, I'm your Neighborhood News reporter, Alexis Scott, Chris 6 News.
All right, the rumbles of thunder may be quiet, but our traffic situation is only now starting to improve along our coastal commutes. 361 Park Road 22, still going to find ponding out on the roadways, and we still have stop and go areas, but for the most part, we seem to be doing better here. If you're going to be making that ride in from the island to the bluff, we're doing okay on Waldron Road, Flower Bluff Drive, and a smooth commute so far to NAS Corpus Christi this morning. Around town again, be careful with some of the ponding out on the roadways, but we're not seeing any delays from the south side up through the Bay Bay Area and for that interchange with the Crosstown Expressway to 37, moving pretty smoothly. Hopefully we can keep it that way. For those of you who are going to be making the trek over 181 in the Harbor Bridge between downtown Portland or downtown Corpus Christi and I guess downtown Portland, we're looking for a smooth ride so far. As you head up and at 'em, please be careful. Make sure you stay safe and you drive safe. Bring that raincoat with you. You'll need it throughout today. Don't be fooled by the lull right now. We're expecting more unsettled weather. I'll tell you more about it in your weather on the 6s.
Now, 6 things to know before you go.
In the 6 things you need to know before heading out the door, the new Real ID rules go into effect in the U.S. today.
Yes, it's a federally compliant state-issued license or identification card that the Department of Homeland Security says is a more secure form of identification. You will need the ID to fly and enter certain federal buildings. The head of Homeland Security said travelers without these IDs will still be able to fly, but they should be prepared to go through additional security screening steps at the TSA. You can get your Real ID at any Texas Department of Public Safety office.
Well, the city council members discussed the Inner Harbor desal project at Tuesday's meeting. Construction is still set to begin in 2026 and be completed by 2028, but there were some significant updates too, especially when it comes to cost. One figure that really raised some eyebrows was the price of the prototype, jumping from $6 million up to $18 million. City staff says a final guaranteed price is expected by December.
We have an update to the animal care services using a landfill for animal remains because their furnace was broken. The Texas Commission on Environmental Quality says the disposing of euthanized animals at the landfill is allowed as long as the area is covered by 3 feet of solid waste or 2 feet of dirt as soon as they arrive at the landfill. No prior approval is required for this practice. Failure to properly cover the animal remains may result in a violation.
Well, the Packery Channel has been temporarily closed to boat traffic. Boat traffic will be halted at 15-minute increments at the Highway 361 bridge at Packery Channel. The closure is so AEP Texas crews can string some new electrical wire. The work is expected to be wrapped up by Thursday. Texas Parks and Wildlife officials will help control marine traffic.
The Gulf Coast Humane Society will be hosting their monthly low-cost clinic. It will be Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., and the drive-through clinic is open to all zip codes. There is a 4-pet max per car. All animals must either be on a leash or in a carrier, and this is a limited service. No wellness checks will be offered.
Well, there is plenty to do today over at Buck Days, right? At 4 p.m., the shops at Treasure Island opens up, followed by the Stripes Carnival opening up at 5. At 6, Cooper Green will be at the Beer and Wine Garden, and then at 7, there's going to be Rodeo Corpus Christi with musical guest Mercy Me. At 7:45, OTB Band will be performing at the Buck and Marlin stage.
Good morning. A stormy start across Coastal Bend is finally starting to wind down, but don't let your guard down yet. We've seen rounds and rounds and rounds, and that is exactly what's in the forecast. So we had a batch of thunderstorms last night, a lull while most of us were sleeping, and then it came back this morning. Still just as fierce. We are going to continue to see unsettled weather across the Coastal Bend today, some of which could bring severe weather to your neighborhood. So let's take a look at what's going on right now and what we expect later on. The radar showing the brightest colors are off our coast, off over the Gulf. Not a problem. We love to see it, but we're still going to have the potential for some sporty weather because what's causing it has not left the area yet. But some relief for our friends out along Port Aransas down to the island. We are going to be dry for a little while at least. This will allow the ponding on the roadways to subside a bit as that rain has moved away. We are dry as of right now. No more rain falling out of the sky here, but in our northern neighborhoods, there's still some shower activity out in coastal Aransas County up by Oswell, Seadrift too, and in northern Refugio County. That's about it. We are dry in most other places aside from what's already on the ground. So, yep, still a hazy, misty view here over downtown Corpus Christi. Again, we're looking at all this moisture in the air. We have particulates from some of the agricultural burns down in Mexico that reduced our air quality yesterday. So it all adds together to be a pretty gloomy start to the day. But we've got the ponding on the roadways to watch for, reduced visibility. What else is awaiting you as you get ready for that Wednesday morning commute? Well, temperatures have cooled where we've seen the rain, so temperatures are near 70 degrees to as warm as the middle 70s in places like Port A and at the airport here in Corpus Christi, but the rain has ended. Winds, yeah, not too bad, 10, 15 miles per hour along coastal commutes, but generally less than that in other places. And that visibility will recover a little bit as we head through the morning, but of course, don't expect a whole lot of sunshine for today. Let's take a closer look at the Chris 6 Neighborhood Weather Network. Your neighbors sharing their readings from their Tempest weather stations at home. And boy, oh boy, has it been a successful day across the south side. Check it out. Rainfall totals around a ½ inch just from the round of storms that moved through since midnight. So that's been a very beneficial reading for us. Thanks for sharing this with us. We relay it to the National Weather Service too, so your reports count. But let's get to the culprit of today's weather. This red and blue line along our coast. This is what we call a stationary boundary, and that's kind of a lie because it's not totally stationary. Weather's never perfectly settled, right? In fact, this is a very unsettled weather pattern, and this line is going to be wiggle wobbling along our coast and creating the environment that is ripe for thunderstorms today. In fact, at times those thunderstorms could get pretty sporty, maybe even severe. So please stay weather aware today. Keep that raincoat on you. I even think the timing of our weather that I'm showing you right now is likely to change depending on where the wiggle wobble of that line is. So again, let's stay up on the forecast throughout today, especially if you have plans. And I think our greatest chance for rainfall, especially in more coastal neighborhoods like Corpus Christi, will be during the afternoon as we heat up. So again, not the best, but at least we need the rainfall and it'll help us out. For our northern neighborhoods, we could still see storms there. The potential would be for hail, strong winds, and it's a little bit more likely in the yellow areas. That's a 2 out of 5. Slight risk for severe weather today, where the green is a 1 out of 5, a lower risk for most other places. So here's a look at that 7-day forecast. We're just dealing with the rain for today and tomorrow. I think tomorrow things start winding it out a little bit. It looks like the help we're looking for upstairs in the atmosphere isn't going to come through until tomorrow evening into early Friday to finally clear out the last of this unsettled weather pattern. And yeah, it's going to be hot throughout the weekend and into next week, but it won't be as humid. So I think we'll actually enjoy this little test run of summer here as we cruise through the next week of May ahead.
I'm Stephanie Molina, your neighborhood news reporter in Kingsville. TAMUK students, like those at other schools, are in the middle of end of semester testing. I talked to students as May marks Mental Health Awareness Month.
Finals are underway for students here at Texas A&M Kingsville. I asked some of them to rate their mental health from 1 to 10.
I would rate it a solid 7.5.
I'd say like around an 8.
I'd say it's about a 6.
I'd say an 8.
A solid 7 out of 10.
For many students, this is a stressful time. Carla Clemens is a senior and says her voice performance major comes with a lot of schoolwork. It can be a lot for freshmen and sophomores.
This is their first couple of years in college. As somebody who's already senior, like I'm already used to the workload and everything's fine. But for those 2 years specifically, it can be very stressful for them.
For other students, they have more than just school to worry about. Ben Reyes wrecked their car a few months ago and is now trying to sell the art to make money for a new one.
So that's my biggest worry, is like making sure that I secure my funding for next semester, get good enough grades to get my grants.
Reyes says the resources at the university help them get through this tough time.
From hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., we have walk-in counselors or drop-in counseling. Any student on campus can, as long as they're registered here, can walk in and see the counselor on duty like myself.
Corey Martin is a counselor at the university. He wants students to know they're here to help.
Take care of yourself most importantly. If you need extra sleep, take it. If you need to eat, make the time for it, because you need to nurture your body to do all of these assignments you need to do. And if you're not well yourself, you're not going to be able to do those assignments. So take care of yourself first and then deal with the world later.
Counselors at TAMUK have a number set up for students wanting help. The number is 361-593-5080. In Kingsville, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Stephanie Molina, Chris 6 News.
Alrighty, Stephanie, thank you so much. So all eyes are on Rome today as Catholic cardinals gather for the official start of the conclave.
Yeah, that's right. So Scripps News Group, Joe St. George is joining us live from Rome with the luckiest assignment ever. Hey, good morning, Joe. I'm sure it's a busy day in Rome. Can you tell our viewers what's going on right now and how many rounds of voting can we expect to happen today?
We only expect one round of voting. That's tradition, because on day one of the conclave, it really is about setting up the business of the conclave. The Cardinals already had a public mass at St. Peter's Basilica. We are just a few hours away. We expect about 9:30 a.m. Central Time. We're 7 hours ahead here in Rome. 9:30 a.m. Central Time is when the Cardinals will process from the Pauline Chapel of the Apostolic Palace to the Sistine Chapel, where the conclave will really get underway. That part will be dramatic because, one, it's televised as the Cardinals profess the litany of the saints. That is a televised moment. Then the Cardinals will really swear an oath, declaring that they will follow the rules of the conclave. After about 30 minutes of this moment, this event, which is very powerful, that's when Extra Omnes will be declared. Everybody out, and that includes the TV cameras. Only the Cardinals that are voting will remain. 133 of them, 89, the magic number to be elected the new Pope. When will we expect to see smoke? That's what everyone's asking me this morning. The expectation is that between 12 p.m. Central Time and 1 p.m. Central Time is the window that we'll see smoke today. Again, we're only expecting one round of voting today, so that's the only time we'll see smoke on this Wednesday. And again, the expectation is that it will be black smoke. Unless somebody is walking into the Sistine Chapel with 89 votes in their pocket, it's going to be black smoke. The expectation from people I've spoken with here in Rome, Vatican in recent days, is that this may take a bit. Pope Francis was elected on the second day in 5 rounds of voting. Again, only one round of voting today. Tomorrow, up to 4 rounds of voting, and that's when we'll really be on chimney watch, waiting for that white smoke to appear, guys.
Oh, so cool. Thank you so much, Joe.
Yeah, we really appreciate the insight, sir. Have a great day out there.
Looks like they're having some good weather, too, out there.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. A little bit better than ours, right?
We were cloud watching a little earlier, too, through his feed. It's pretty neat stuff. But, hey, what an exciting morning. Mm-hmm. We're not done yet. I know we've got a little break right now. We had a break last night, too. Just most folks were sleeping. But we're going to see rounds of this unsettled weather happen because what's causing this is an unsettled weather pattern. We have a stationary boundary. It's a front that kind of lost its steam. Not quite a cold front, not quite a warm front. And it needs some help from upstairs in the atmosphere to finally get moving. That is not going to come until tomorrow night, early Friday. So I'll tell you what's to come in between now and then. But first, a shout out to our Coastal Bend weather watchers. This was a picture submitted to us showing the size of hail. This is a phenomenal example, by the way. If you're going to tell us about hail in your neighborhood and you've got a good reference you could put next to that hailstone, this is what we love to see because it really helps us out a whole lot. Quarter size hail, easy to report to the National Weather Service. But again, thank you so much. If you're not part of our Coastal Bend Weather Watchers group on Facebook, scan that QR code on your screen right now, or if you've got your phone in hand, head on over to Facebook, look for the groups tab and search Coastal Bend Weather Watchers. You agree to the group rules, you're in, and you can see all the views that your neighbors share with us, whether it's beautiful weather, stormy weather. When it is stormy weather, it helps because, again, we relay that to the National Weather Service. So you're contributing to the science of the Coastal Bend. We love to see it. So thank you again. But let's get to the business, the forecast, because while we're seeing the quiet right now, more stormy weather, it's likely on the way. We've got this severe thunderstorm watch in effect right now until 8 o'clock this morning. And so the National Weather Service, I'm being told, is actually, they're discussing whether they're going to allow this to expire sooner because the rain has cleared out for now. But that doesn't mean that the threat for severe weather today and even into tomorrow is completely done yet. Again, we're kind of at the mercy of the culprit churning up this weather. So this round has ended. But there is another meal on the way, so to speak, and we are dry across the Coastal Bend. Officially now, the last of the rainfall in northern Refugio County finally wrapping up. So we still have ponding on the roadways. We still have unsettled weather. Our friends on the island were dealing with ponding on Park Road 22 and 361, so that's still going to be there when you head out, but we haven't seen as much for delays out that way since, and even in our northern neighborhoods, a lot of that rain has already moved out over the water. So we're looking good. We're looking better. And as far as the view over downtown Corpus Christi goes, we are still misty and hazy. We told you about reduced air quality yesterday, and that particulate matter in the air, these water droplets grab onto it. So it's going to be misty and hazy throughout today. We're also expecting more rain on the way. I'll time that out for you. But so far with the dry conditions, temperatures rebounding a little bit in those lower to middle 70s with winds generally uneventful, between 10 and 20 miles per hour along the coast, quieter inland, and actually a few pops of sunshine definitely possible as we go through this morning. Don't expect a whole lot of sunshine, and if you do see more, that's not a good sign because it'll help to churn up more of the showers and storms. So again, a lot of uncertainty and instability happening in the forecast for today. Stay weather aware and keep it here with Chris 6 weather experts for all of the latest. But I want to share the good stuff with you. The Chris 6 Neighborhood Weather Network allows us to see your readings from your Tempest home weather stations. And you can find out more about this on our website, christv.com/weather. But our neighbors on the south side picking up anywhere from a ½ inch, a little more, a little less, depending on where you are. So we'll call it 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch area wide. That is phenomenal because this is just from the storms we saw overnight into this morning. So hopefully we'll pick up more and see more in the watershed. It's been a pretty good week for us, pretty good past couple of 4 to 6 weeks in the rainfall department. Let's keep it going, right? Well, this is the culprit behind today's showers and storms, what's been churning everything up. It's going to wiggle wobble around the coastal bend between today and tomorrow. So we are not done yet, even though we're getting a break now. In fact, this timeline of rain for today, I think could change. So please stay on top of the forecast. But generally, the heat of the afternoon could help to cook up showers and storms. And some of those could be severe. The areas in yellow, northern neighborhoods, a little more likely. That's a 2 out of 5 for you there. But overall, this is a more quiet commute for folks who are going to be heading out right now. We tend to see that traffic on SPID pick up right about now after the newscast. So more than likely, that's you. We hope you have a nice commute this morning. Take it slow just in case you find any of the ponding on the roadways. But we got a nice weekend to look forward to.
I know.
A little hot, but I know Michelle loves that kind of weather.
Yeah.
It's your favorite.
I love to see it all, though. I love the rain, and then to see sun on the weekends. That means beach day, right?
At least it's going to be good for Mother's Day as well. Don't forget, guys, it's coming up. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. We will see you later. Have a great day.